Guys, NunoTheDude. So today I would like to yap a little bit about me party composition and my late game archetypes. I'm in the last month of the game, so if you haven't gotten to this part yet, I would suggest you play a little bit more and then come back later, because there's going to be some spoilers for abilities, and I wouldn't want to ruin this amazing game for you, so there's your warning. Anyway, I want to yap about the archetypes and my abilities because, well, first of all, I have no friends to talk about it, and because I'm banned from Reddit for the fucking 900th time, so I just can't post my stuff there. And if I post my stuff on Steam forums, people get angry because I'm posting too much, apparently, because posting and being excited about content is cringe in their eyes, apparently. Whatever. So,
what now?
One thing you'll notice about myself is that I'm very much sort of like monkey brain, right? Because the way my brain works every time I'm playing a game is, why do many if small do little good, yes? That's how I work, right? Like, why do many if little work very good, right? As my grandpa used to say. And this kind of manifests in me just being very like monkey brain, because in a game like Dark Souls, I just use the strength build, right? I just bonk people with a comically oversized sword, or objects, or whatever I have at hand, really. And with games like RPGs and whatnot, I always choose the biggest and meanest, heaviest sword possible to just play easy mode, because people are like, oh, I wish Dark Souls had an easy mode. Use the strength build! So much rage! Come on, use it, you idiot! So I don't know. And paradoxically, I just bamboozled you. For this build, I went with magic, because I have played Persona 4, 3, 5, and for those games, the magic build has like always been incredibly overpowered. So for me, I was kind of like going into this game thinking that it would just be Persona 2.0, but it wasn't, because there's a lot more variety, I would say, for the builds. And yeah, I kind of regret going for a magic build, because I was expecting like wind amp, fire amp, and whatnot, but that's not how it works. But still, I did go for a magic build, and as you can see here, 70 magic and, well, 55 agility. That's just what I did. I spec'd into magic so I can be an offensive damage dealer, and I spec'd with agility so I can like dodge and also you know, attack more frequently. That's like my main focus. Obviously I have very high MP and HP because I did some mastery for my archetypes, and I kind of buffed them a little bit. I did this for all of the characters, so if you don't see me mentioning this for Stroll or whoever else, then just assume that I did some like shenanigans to like increase their like stats, so as you can see here. Anyway, going back to topic, this is my build. You can go ahead and see it, level 63, and yeah. So this is the part where it kind of becomes funny, okay? Because for me, most of the game, I was expecting that I would be a mage, right? Because it's in the game, it's in the name, right? Mage build, damage dealer. But somehow, funnily enough, the mage archetype is not very good, at least for me. Because look, sure, you do get like elemental skills, but because it works different than Persona, I always found this to just kind of be like not as useful. I think the passives are amazing, and it's the reason why I put them on like every other archetype. Like for example, if I go to the healer, you can see like the mage passives here, but not the abilities themselves, like the fire or ice. And that's because I don't find them very useful in the system of metaphor, right? I don't know. I just couldn't really vibe with the mage skill, and for me, the mage has always been kind of useless for me. It also doesn't help that it's kind of like gated towards story progression, so I just couldn't do it. Another thing that makes like the mage kind of bad is the fact that you get like intel slips, or like papers that actually tell you the weaknesses of the bosses of the dungeons. So for me, it's like, what's the point of like experimenting with different elemental skills if I can just buy the information and then put it on my inherited savior? Like, what's the point, right? So for me, mage, oddly enough, has never been useful. That kind of changed with the elemental master late game, because for the elemental master you have some really like useful resist abilities, so I might change for this, I'm not sure, but for now my like most used archetypes have been the cleric and the savior. And because like another funny thing about the mage is like if you look at their stats, like for example, look, 16 and 13 increase in damage, and the savior is 19 and 15. So for some reason, like, even though the healer is supposed to be, well, a healer, its damage output is greater than the mage. So for me, that's another reason why I barely use the mage, because if I can just inherit the skills for my savior, just, what's the point of the mage? I don't get it. It makes no sense. This is supposed to be a healer, but it's so much better. It also doesn't help that, like, you get Maria fairly early on as it's like a social link, and it's very easy to like max her up. So by the time that you have like inherited skills for the savior or for the cleric, the mage just kind of starts to fall behind because of the story progression. And yeah, so for me, I just use the healer like a motherfucker. And then obviously, like, I also used the merchant because I was pretty overleveled for the majority of the dungeons that were like after mid-game. So for me, I use the merchant because the merchant has depth collection and I can farm some magic, and generally speaking, I can also just put a skill I want if I'm running a specific dungeon and just get a lot of moolah. As you can see here, I have like a lot of money. I wish this was me in real life. It's not, unfortunately. So yeah, I managed to like rake up like some insane money, and I don't need any money anymore. Like literally, I don't need money. So yeah, kind of broken in my opinion, but that's the main archetypes that I used for most of my playthrough. Healer and the merchants. I did get the prince, but the prince is like so overpowered and so fucking brain dead to the point where I just have to stop myself from using this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just have to stop myself using this because the prince is just too overpowered. Like, resist all? Like, why don't you just fucking suck my dick while you're at it and fucking massage me or something? Just do it all. Just fucking one-shot all the enemies. Why don't you, right? I don't know. I don't like being overpowered, and for most like of my playthrough, as I said, I was pretty overleveled. So having something like this that just does everything, you know, it does the dishes, it does your laundry, it kills your enemies. Just, I don't know, too strong. I just can't use this. It just trivializes the game. Because this game is easy, even on hardest difficulty, which is what I'm playing. So yeah, that's like my build, and yeah, let's go for my next one.